Hey there everybody, this is Caitlin here and welcome to our very first video that is for spoilers for the third set of the Lapis Cluster for Force of Will. I am totally excited. In fact, I am so excited that, as you can see in the corner here, it is currently 1:30 in the morning where I am right now because the spoilers literally just came out at like 1 o'clock in the morning here, and I was thinking I could just wait until the morning after I've slept to actually record my reaction to it, but then I was thinking, no, you know what, I'm still awake, I'm still like hyped up with energy and whatnot, I'm not tired yet, so I'm just going to record it right now because I feel like I need to get my first thoughts out about these cards out. And, so I don't have to, like, go to sleep and then forget about half them and then, like, lose all the raw emotion that I'm feeling right now when I'm staring at this crying Kaguya. Oh my god, this is, like, the cruelest way to start off these spoilers. But starting them off, we have Kaguya, Tears of the Moon, which did confirm my suspicions that Kaguya was going to be the blue wind ruler for this set, because obviously Return of the Dragon Emperor, we're going to have a little hand in dual color rulers again, so this is actually quite interesting. I like how her ruler description is a wizard. I just wanted to go, you're a wizard Kaguya, or something like that. I am Scottish, but like literally I tried to make that as Scottish as possible, and it didn't work. So, Kaguya is very interesting in that her judgment cost is 0. You play this ability only if a treasury item was put into your field this turn, and I think this is making a major callback to the Kaguya that we saw in Grim Cluster, because I remember correctly, there was like 2 different kinds of Kaguya. There was like the one that worked with like chance standbys, I believe, and then or something like that, and then there was another one where it was like working with treasury items and whatnot. I remember there being like an Apollo lance or something like that. There was some kind of like moon lance or whatever that was a treasury item, and you could equip it to J ruler. So I think this is kind of mimic back to that one. And then she obviously has the energize for water or wind. And she also has an ability that doesn't cost anything, which is reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a treasury item, put it into your hand. Play this ability only during your turn and only once per turn. So that's a good way of drawing, because we know that blue usually has like best draw abilities and whatnot. And that's a good way to like find the treasury items and whatnot, because it says that you can flip Kaguya basically whenever you play a treasury item, which is pretty good. And from what I gather, the treasury items are pretty cheap anyway. So as long as we get them into our hands, we can bring it out easily enough. And like her quote at the bottom, well, the quote that's accompanying her at the bottom here, which is just like, Kaguya's tears streamed down her face, slowly is it coalesced or coalesced? I'm not sure how you say that word, into a magic stone. And literally her face right now is just like absolutely tormented, and the rabbits are trying to comfort her and it's not working, and it's just totally sad. But then, it seems as if her memories have awakened and she's become Kaguya, the Millennium Princess, and she's a Moon Princess now, and she's looking very fabulous, but her head must be absolutely aching with this giant, massive crown that she's wearing the whole time. I mean, that looks very uncomfortable for her to wear. She's got a whole bunch of stuff here, so we need to check this out. As long as you control 3 or more treasury items, this card becomes Barrier, which is very nice. You can rest the recovered treasury item you control, and the target J/Resonator gains -200 attack until end of turn. You can rest 2 treasury items, and you can produce either water or wind will. You rest 3 treasury items you control, and you get to draw a card. And you can rest 4 treasury items and return target Resonator to its owner's hand, so bounce. And you can rest 5 treasury items you control. This card becomes a 15/15 with flying until end of turn. Wow, that is a lot of stuff to go through. So basically, if you're running Kaguya, you're going to be running the heck out of treasury items and whatnot. I believe they're additions technically, so they're not regalia, they're additions, so they're a different thing or whatever. But that seems very interesting. Also, like to point out, she's kind of similar in the way that she's like Fox, in that when she flips, she doesn't actually enter with like any attack or defense, whatever. It doesn't say that she can't battle or that she can't be attacked and whatnot, but I guess as long as you have the 3 treasury items, she's got barrier, so they can't like snipe her with Black Moonbeam or whatever and stuff like that, which makes her really interesting. And the fact that she can, by the time if you've got like 5 treasury items, and she can become a 15/15 with fly, I mean, that is deadly in itself. I mean, that's pretty scary. You can see the enraged look in her face there. And as her tears fell to the earth, Kaguya awoke to a new power. Her heart focused on feasting. Oh my god, it's so sad. It is absolutely sad, and I'm going to start crying. I'm going to start crying Kaguya's Stone of Sorrow, which is her special magic stone. If your ruler isn't Kaguya Tears of the Moon or Kaguya Millennium Princess, this card enters your field rested unless you pay the 300 life. Treat it as a water magic stone and wind magic stone, produces water and wind obviously, and then it has another thing where when it enters your field, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them back in any order, which is a nice way to make sure that you can kind of filter your deck to get the cards that you want at the top. So say you want to draw into that treasury one, you can like make sure that you can mix up the 2 cards, see if you can get the treasury one on top, or if you're like desperately looking for some kind of card, you've got some way to kind of fix the way that you're drawing when this card enters the field. So up to 4 times if you're running a playset of them, which is nice. And we finally have got a Resonator. We've got the Glistening Chick, which is a 2 cost, 1 wind and 1 water, a 5/5. It is kind of special in that it's a treasury item / a bird. So this technically counts for the treasury item thing for flipping Kaguya, which is very nice, and it's a Resonator. It's got flying, obviously, because it's a bird. Most of the birds fly, except for a few. Whenever this card becomes rested, you may rest a target Resonator. So normally, in any other cases, it would only affect if it was attacking or blocking. But since we know that this is counts as a treasury item as well, this also works with Kaguya resting treasury items and whatnot for her effects. So when this rests, if you're doing it for Kaguya's effect, then you can still rest a Resonator. So ideally, one of your opponents, whatever, stop them from blocking, which is what I think the ideal situation is. Next up, we have Water Kimono of 12 parts. It's a 1-drop addition / treasury item. You can have up to 12 copies of this card in your deck, which is very peculiar, but we shall read on. Bestowing it just means you just have to tap it, you don't have to pay anything, which is really good. Bestowed Resonator gains 100/100 for each Water Kimono of 12 parts bestowed to it, and whenever this card is bestowed to a Resonator, if you control a Resonator and 12 Water Kimono of 12 parts is bestowed to it, you win the game. So this is like almost insanely similar. Not like exactly, but it's sort of similar to the silly Ataratica Regalia we got from BFA, where it was just like, oh, if you manage to pull off all the silly things where you remove the cards and whatnot, you win the game, and blah blah blah. But this is a different way of doing it, which is pretty bizarre. I mean, I like it. I mean, it's definitely different. I remember Jordan was saying how there's going to be I don't know if he said it was in L3 or L4, but there was like a ruler going to like come in, and its like playstyle would be totally different from what we've seen before. And I feel like maybe he was talking about Kaguya. Potentially he might be talking about something else and we've not seen it yet, but this is actually quite funny in a way that you could, like, as long as you get your 12 editions out and you boom, bestow it to a Resonator, you won, which is kind of insane. I would assume you'd want to draw the heck out of this card in order to get all 12 of them. Might not be just like the go-to strategy you want with Kaguya. You probably just want to try and make sure you can also be able to flip her and get all her funky stuff out, because obviously there might be the chance that your opponent destroys additions, because there's not a lot of addition destruction, I think, but maybe there'll be more addition destruction introduced in this set, I feel like, to counter, otherwise this would be broken. Next up we have Mystia, Manager of the Treasury. Were Rabbits are back. Hooray! This one is a 3 cost. It's 1 wind, 1 water, and 1 void. It's 500/500, so a bit on the weak side for a 3-drop. When it enters your field, you can search your deck for a treasury item, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And when this one dies, you can put a treasury item with total cost 3 or less from your hand to the field. So that counts for that Resonator that we saw. It counts for the Kimono. And I believe it counts for another one, which we saw, which is the Miracle Millennia Medicine, which is a treasure item as well, but this one's a green one for just green. You can banish this card and target up to 3 non-magic stones in a single graveyard. The owner of those cards shuffles them into their deck. So this is kind of neat in that it means all graveyards. So if you want, you can shuffle your opponent's 3 cards in their graveyard into their deck, so maybe stop them playing Remnant or whatever, or maybe to stop them resurrecting something straight from the grave would be the ideal way, I think, to use this card, I believe. Probably the best way to use it. And then finally we have an addition, which is a Moon/Treasury item. So not only does this work for new Kaguya, but you could also technically use this with Tsukiyomi Noble, and you could also use this with the new Kaguya Resonator from Legacy Lost, the one that I think you pay less for it if you control a moon, or something like that. This first moon is a 2-drop, it's 1 wind and 1 water. Other additions you control cannot be destroyed, which is what this deck badly needs, since additions are, people are going to be like, oh, we definitely need the addition hate if you're going to be running Kaguya, and then this card is just like, excuse me, I don't think so, you're not destroying it. And I would assume you'd want to at least have 2 of them out, because it means at least one of them can't be destroyed either, because it just says other additions, it doesn't say all additions, so this card could still be targeted by addition hate. So you might want to run 2 or something like that, just so you can keep both of them protected. When this card becomes rested, target Resonator gains minus 200 attack until end of turn. So again, this is a treasure item as well, so it can be rested for Kaguya's effect, which is very nice. The satellite of the Earth, the true moon. It's looking all psychedelic in the sky there, with almost like the northern lights are coming out of it. But anyway, guys, this has been like my first impressions, literally first impressions, because I'm surprised I've managed to stay awake this long. But I had a nap earlier on, so that's probably why I'm so hyper right now. I like fell asleep and woke up and it was like later on in the day, and I was like, well, I've missed half the day and now I'm wide awake, so I probably won't be falling asleep until very later on into the morning. But alas, that's what happens when like you accidentally fall asleep and whatnot. But I am really, really excited for this, guys. I am so hyped. Literally, these are just my first reactions and whatnot, so I may sound a little bit hyper. I'm also a little bit buzzed. I've had a massive sugar rush and whatnot, so I'm still wide awake and whatnot. So my apologies if I sound a bit too hyper, too fast and whatnot. But let me know in the comments down below, guys, what do you think of this first set of spoilers? We're now back to 2 spoilers a week, so we're going to be getting them in my time zone. It's like we're getting them at 1 in the morning on a Tuesday and like 1 in the morning on a Friday, I believe. So it's like every Tuesday and Friday. So for Card Game Tuesday, I'll always have the spoilers on a Tuesday, and then on Friday we'll be back. We'll also have spoilers on a Friday and whatnot. So we're back to 2 spoilers a week now that Vingolf will be coming out this week and whatnot. So I'm hyped, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this first set of spoilers. Do you like the look of new Kaguya? Are you sad to see this crying face? Are you sad that Feasting is dead? Or are you proud of our little magical girl becoming the true princess that she was meant to be? Let me know in the comments down below, guys, and I will see all you guys next time.